And you understand all of those rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
You also understand that by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your right to a contested hearing, correct?
Come again? I couldn't hear you.
However, Your Honor, I do understand that the only reason he came in is because he got picked up on another outstanding warrant. That one hasn't been resolved, and I would only ask that rather than incarcerating this case for the probation violation, that we close it out and let everything district court deal with this case.
So Mr. Beach should just be rewarded with not having to do anything or account for anything as it relates to his plea from 2016, the end of 2016, and go on his merry way.
In today's episode of F Around and Find Out, we have two defendants who abscond from probation. They are now in front of Judge DeSanto to face the music. What will Judge DeSanto do? Let's find out.
All right, so we are going on the record on the day that just keeps going in the matter of Jacob Beach, 1622829. And appearance, counsel?
Your Honor, the record, John Goldberg, B 30758, on behalf of Mr. Beach. Mr. Beach, would you please put your name on the record?
Oh, hold on. I need you. I'm going
Your name, sir. Jacob Beach.
All right, thank you. Well, Mr. Beach is in custody today because there was a warrant that was issued back in 2017 for his failure to appear for probation violation hearing. And Mr. Beach was on probation for assaulting, resisting, obstructing a police officer. And it's alleged he failed to appear for probation on January 24th of 2017, January 31st of 2017, February 15th of 2017, failed to comply with payments and failed to complete workforce. And so, counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. That is correct, Your Honor. I have discussed this with Mr. Beach, and at this time he would plead guilty to the allegations.
Sir, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear affirm the testimony about to give this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And sir, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
Yes.
And as to the allegations of probation violation, how do you plead?
I'm guilty.
And you've gone over your advice of rights for probation violation purposes, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand all of those rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
You also understand that by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your right to a contested hearing, correct?
Come again? I couldn't hear you.
You understand that by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your right to a contested hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct?
I wasn't fully informed.
All right, well, the recommendation is to have probation revoked, close case without improvement, pay a violation fee, serve jail time, and your balance will be $674.
Your Honor, if I
That's
may.
what the recommendation is.
Quick. I didn't have the recommendation when I met him, and Alex just gave it to me now. But I do not see any recommendation for jail time.
Yep, it is. Look down there under other, and then see where it says serve blank days in jail starting today. It's checked, but there's not a recommendation for number of days.
Oh,
Just below other. See the document?
I just see serve. Oh, I see. That's
See how there's
the
a,
underline under.
yes, okay.
We're gonna ask that.
Okay, I understand. So do you understand the possible penalty, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or coerced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, if you can please ready your client.
Thank you. Mr. Beach, were you placed on probation to this court back in, I'm sorry, 2016?
It's kind of, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry, were you placed on probation to this court back in March of 2016? We have the wrong court date. Were you placed on probation to this court?
Yes, I was placed on probation.
And as part of that probation, were you to attend probation hearings as well as comply with a payment plan, complete a workforce program?
Yes.
And did you do all of those things, or did you fail to do those things?
I failed to complete them.
And satisfied, Your Honor.
The court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. The court will accept your plea. The probation violation, indicated probation violation will enter. And counsel, as to the recommendation.
Your Honor, he clearly understands the obligations and the financial obligations. He was very young at the time. I believe he was 19. In fact, the review of the file appears, and I may be wrong, that he was originally under HIDA, and there was some comments about in the file about it was a felony. I'm just looking at the letters that were in the file. He was immature. He's gained in status, and he's tried to comply with some of those things, and he just messed up. He's quite remorseful for that. Also, he's gainfully employed. He's living with his significant other and his child that he is obligated to support. He is taking care of all those actions. We're asking that the probation obviously be revoked without improvement, and rather than incarcerate him at this time, Your Honor, we would ask that he payment plan to pay off all of the. I don't think at this point in time, Your Honor, the incarceration is going to do anything to help society or to help him. Second of all, it's my understanding that he was just arraigned on a driving while license suspended in third district court. And his next court date, he received a personal bond there, and his next court date is the 6th of June 7th. I don't see incarceration serving any purpose other than to just punish him in his family. He does understand, as he told me, he was mature, and that's all he has to say.
So, Mr. Beach, why haven't you taken care of this matter before now?
Just scared of going to jail. Like, I have a job I have to keep and stuff. Like, I was just not sure what was going to happen or come from it.
And so you think avoiding it is the more mature way to handle it?
No, it's not, Your Honor.
How did you come to be in custody today, sir?
He was detained out of Boston and was taken on the driving on suspended ticket to 33rd District Court. They picked him up there.
Why not went and picked him up?
Yes, is that correct, Mr. Beach?
Woodhaven came and got me from New Boston, then just Wyandotte came and got me after I posted bond. Like I said, I was just.
He was able to use the cash that he had to post the bond for the driving on suspended license ticket, which is how.
Okay, hold on. So you were arrested in New Boston, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm speaking to him.
Hold on, just for a moment, please. Because I'm a little confused. You indicated he was in 33rd on a suspended license and he posted a personal bond. Or they gave him a personal bond. But what appears to have happened is that Mr. Beach was arrested in New Boston after being pulled over or having some police contact. He had a warrant out of 33rd and a warrant out of 27th. Is that how that happened?
I wasn't necessarily arrested. I was gonna get a ticket and
Hold
go.
on, sir. No. Okay, listen. Did you have a warrant out of 33rd District Court?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay, and you had one out of the 27th District Court.
I did, Your Honor.
That's where I'm going, is that you had 2 outstanding warrants and you didn't take care of either one of them voluntarily.
Yes, just not being aware of what's gonna happen. I can't really take jail time, Your Honor.
Is your new address on Yorkshire, sir?
No, that's not the right address. It's, I can give you the address.
All right, well, here's what the court's going to do. The court's going to indicate that you have previously failed to appear at court. You've gone about 6 years before you've taken care of this matter. And that was only because you had police contact, not on your own voluntary basis. So what the court's going to do is the court's going to indicate that the court's going to revoke your probation, close the case without improvement. The court's going to also indicate that you are to serve.
Your Honor, he's gainfully employed, he's working full-time at DSI. As I've indicated, he is sole support of his family, his significant other, and the court will take that into consideration. Obviously,
The court has taken all that into consideration. The court's going to indicate 30 days jail.
Your Honor, that's extremely harsh, particularly under the circumstances. I understand that he didn't show up. He was very.
What are the circumstances, counsel, other than your client was placed on probation? He failed to attend probation appointments, 3 of them, January 24th, January 31st, February 15th. Also failed to comply with any payment, failed to complete any workforce. So he was given the benefit of probation instead of jail and didn't do any of that. And so then he's gone 6 years without addressing any of these issues. And so obviously the maximum penalty is 93 days and I'm indicating 30 days.
Your Honor,
Your
I just
Honor.
think that under the
One can speak at a time, sir, you have to wait.
Your Honor, as I've indicated, he acted very immature. There's no doubt about that. He's indicated to you that he's got this fear of what was going to occur, and he was wrong. If he'd come and taken care of this, we wouldn't be in this circumstances. However, Your Honor, I do understand that the only reason he came in is because he got picked up on another outstanding warrant. That one hasn't been resolved, and I would only ask that rather than incarcerating this case for the probation violation, that we close it out and let everything in the district court deal with this case.
So Mr. Beach should just be rewarded with not having to do anything or account for anything as it relates to his plea from 2016, the end of 2016, and go on his merry way?
No, Your Honor, I'm not suggesting he doesn't owe the money or take care of other incidents. I'm just asking that he not incarcerate him for his failure to come in here sooner on his own.
Counsel, the court isn't indicating that the 30 days jail is for him failing to come in earlier. It's because he didn't comply with terms and conditions of probation.
I understand.
And so since he didn't comply with terms and conditions of probation, what's the alternative?
Your Honor, I'm only indicating, and I'll be honest with the court, had he come in here voluntarily a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't suggest that the court would be incarcerated. That's all I'm asking.
Well, perhaps the court wouldn't be incarcerating him for as long, but there would probably still be incarceration. There's been other matters, counsel, that individuals haven't completed anything on probation and probation's revoked and then there's jail time.
I understand that, Your Honor, but there's not a claim that he didn't do nothing on this. He didn't do some of those things.
All right, what did your client complete on probation?
Pardon?
What did your client complete
Well,
on probation?
from my understanding, he did make some payments. And I haven't seen all the terms and conditions, but some payments were made.
Here is what he was ordered to do. Random drug testing, monthly reporting, 2 days on the court workforce, payment and comply with the payment plan. So he didn't do any of his conditions. Those were the only conditions he had.
Your Honor, my understanding was that the total costs were about $900.
$930,
So
yes.
there's some payment at least,
Okay.
because of the amount given out. There's
He
no,
made about $306 in payments.
understand, Your Honor. Also, Your Honor, I don't see any allegations that he failed any type of drug testing or that matter.
I'm sorry, $360, and that was actually on the day of his sentencing. So he didn't make any payments after he was sentenced. The $360 was paid on the date of sentencing,
I
and he
understand.
didn't make another payment. So, counsel, how do,
I guess I'm
if somebody, if an individual is sentenced to probation, not jail, they don't comply with any provision, any conditions of their probation, what should be the consequence?
I guess I'm asking for leniency, Your Honor. No, sir.
Because if people are just going to be placed on probation, not comply with any terms, and then show up a couple years later, what's the point of probation? What incentive is there for somebody to complete their terms and conditions of probation?
The incentive, of course, is not to go to jail. I understand
Okay,
that, Your Honor.
and so then you're asking me, you're telling this court that it's too harsh for this court to sentence him to jail.
Under these circumstances, at this time, yes, and his life has changed around. He's now painfully employed. I agree he did not come in here voluntarily to take care of this. I agree that he should have completed all the terms and probation. I'm only asking the court to look into the totality of the circumstances and ask for leniency on behalf of Mr. Beacon.
I did take that into consideration, which is why I didn't sentence him to the full term of jail. Because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything while on probation. Yes, sir?
No. Put me on the verge of losing my house. I'm really trying to,
Sir, hold on, let me clarify something. I'm not putting you on the verge of anything. I am not the one that didn't appear for probation. I am not the one that didn't comply with probation conditions. So let's be clear on that. I am not the one that's putting you on the verge of losing your house.
I'm just saying the whole situation, I know I messed up and, I'm really trying to make it right. But jail
How are you
time,
doing that? Because how are you doing that? I haven't seen effort as to any of that.
like I said, Your Honor,
You said that you're trying to make it right. You said you're trying to make it right. How are you doing that? What are you doing to make it right?
I haven't been able to because like I said, I wasn't sure on what was gonna happen. I don't remember what the circumstances were back, why I didn't complete the program. And
So did you contact him to the court? Did you call your probation officer? Did you call the probation department?
no, I did reach out to Woodhaven a couple weeks ago, seeing like how to go about it. But like I said, Your Honor, money is tight and I wasn't sure on what was gonna happen. I can't afford to go to jail and not be in the workforce making money for fees and to survive, Your Honor.
Sir, I can understand that, but this court has its written orders. And if its orders are not complied with, how long do you think this court should wait for somebody to comply with its orders before there's additional consequences?
Well, I kept a clean nose and wasn't like causing any trouble, I just was requesting maybe a tether, like you guys would know where I'm at until the next court date.
There isn't another court date with us. You've pled guilty to the probation violation.
Okay. And that your only step is jail next, no money or anything?
Well, sir, actually, I'm going to waive your fines and costs. You haven't paid them in 7 years. The court's going to waive your fines and costs.
Well, I don't want them, I'm willing to pay them. I just can't take the jail time. I'm willing to pay any price on any payment plan there is.
Sir, you can't take the jail time, then you should have complied with this court's orders of probation. Probation is an opportunity for somebody to stay out of jail and correct their behavior. Your behavior wasn't corrected because you still haven't done what you're supposed to have done. You still didn't take care of your matters. You still had another warrant out of the 33rd District Court. Probation is revoked.
The court at least consider 10 days to 30 months. This way, hopefully, we'll be able to maintain his job. And
The court will amend the 30 days to 21 days. I'm not going down less than that.
thank you.
21 days jail. Maybe the fines and costs, matters closed out.
Thank you, John. Would it be possible, Your Honor, for him to report to the Wayne County Jail on Monday so we can?
Absolutely not. He failed to appear 7 years. He hasn't even voluntarily come in. He had another warrant out of 33rd. No, not going to happen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And then we are still on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Daniel Walters, 23704.
Definitely, Your Honor. Your Honor, John Goldclaw, P. 30758, on behalf of Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters, will you please put your name on the record?
I didn't catch that, sorry, what?
Okay, Mr. Gopal, I don't think you're coming through very well.
John Goldclaw, P. 30758, on behalf of Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters, will you please put your name on the record?
Daniel Robert Walters.
All right, thank you. That was very good.
Thank you.
Microphone there. All right, well, Mr. Walters is in custody because he failed to appear for a pretrial on May 2nd. And there was a warrant issued for his arrest. Oh, I remember Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters was supposed to have tested and he took off before he tested. So the court revoked bond and issued a warrant for his arrest, a $7,500 cash bond. And that was on April 18th. And because the court had confirmed that Mr. Walters had been, was under the influence of alcohol at the time of his pretrial. And so the court ordered Mr. Walters to go over probation and test. And I believe part of that was because Mr. Walters acknowledged that he had consumed alcohol and marijuana. So then the court wasn't even going to conduct a pretrial either. And so the court had Mr. Walters report to probation for testing, and before he could do that, he took off. And then he didn't return for the next date that we had adjourned this to, either on May 2nd. And now Mr. Walters is in custody.
That's correct, John.
And how did that occur?
That occurred because Mr. Walters had an outstanding matter in the 33rd District Court. He appeared.
That's a common theme
It's
today.
a common theme today. However, this was before Judge McNally, not just before Judge Kissen. And Mr. Walters appeared there, and then was given a personal bond by Judge McNally, and he was then taken to this court.
And so how did Mr. Walters appear there? He walked in voluntarily, or did he get transported from a different jurisdiction?
Mr. Walters, how did you get taken to Judge McNally?
I mean, I was picked up on Brazil. I wasn't trying to evade police or anything. Considering I didn't know I had a warrant out from 33rd, because in the late April, or middle of April, I literally lost everything in my possession and like my house. My entire life went to shambles, right? But regarding your case, I really was going to turn myself in as soon as I got like the money and everything. But when you ordered me to go do the drug test and I knew I was going to fail for it, I got terrified and I ran off. And I was going to come back in like a month or so, but then all this stuff happened. But I was going to come back to where I couldn't test clean and everything and do it the right way. But I know that it's still not the right way no matter what. So, but I was for my probation. I'm sorry.
Sir,
Yes.
time out. You said you knew you were going to go to jail. Why?
I was scared. I didn't know. I was scared.
So you assumed that you were going to jail.
Yes.
Okay, and so what kind of case did you have in 33rd District Court that you had a warrant out for your arrest?
Oh, that was through the violation of probation. But when I said I was scared I was gonna go to jail, that was when I had to do the testing in your court, is what I was referring to.
And you're on probation for OWI?
I don't know what that is. No, what is that? I don't know what that is.
What are you on probation for out of the 33rd District Court?
It's attempted, it was like attempted, right, which that's a whole different thing. And then a shoplifting thing.
Attempt retail fraud, that's correct.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So,
But I was doing my probation and everything. I was actually almost done with it. I was behind with the fines, but I was on track with all my drug testing and all that up until just a month or so ago. When literally my entire life went to shambles right before my eyes, and I was trying my hardest. So I'm trying to get it back on track right now. And I would do the probation. I'm typically really good with all of that kind of stuff. I'm actually typically like a shining example of what you would want from your, I don't know what you would call them, but probation participants.
sir, are you under the care of a treating physician right now?
What is that?
Are you under the care of a doctor right now?
I mean, I have a primary care physician, yeah.
Okay, and are you being treated by that physician?
I haven't seen him in a while now. But I was about to start.
Big question, sir, is if you have some mental health issues that have been addressed.
Well, I can understand. I've been thinking about that myself, but I've been under a lot of stress. Like my ex-girlfriend died, and then I had to learn to walk again, and was homeless, and everything else got taken from me. So I wouldn't say like I'm crazy, but I'm just kind of the wear and tear has gotten to me. Yes. So I was actually about to start an outpatient thing from my probation, but then all this stuff happened. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I'm trying to get back on track, not even just my life, but with like the judicial system and everything, to get this behind me, because I don't want to be ducking and diving for 6 years or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay. And sir, when I ask you that question regarding mental health, it's not because I am trying to determine if you're crazy or not crazy. It's because you didn't have many issues, and then all of a sudden you're having a lot of issues. That's why I'm asking you. Not to see whether or not you're crazy, not crazy, or otherwise. Because just because you have mental health issues doesn't mean that you're a crazy person.
Right. There was issues before. I was just able to handle them much better. You know what I mean? Now, it's been like 6 months, but the past like 2 months especially, I don't know what. I mean, I'm starting to realize like what I have to do. It's just a matter of getting all my stones in a row, you know.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I wanted to do, and then turn myself into you. But I didn't have the kind of time to do that because Grozil knows me. So, and not even from all this, because they know my family and stuff.
Okay. The court's going to recall the warrant, indicate free trial June 13th, 2023 at 9 a.m. and counsel as to bond.
Your Honor, he's now on a personal bond. Out of Judge McNally, actually he has to appear before Judge Hessen on, I believe, the 5th.
Fifth.
Regarding the 5th, is that correct, Mr. Walter?
That's correct. That's correct.
He's between jobs. He was recently employed at O'Malley's, I believe it was, and then
It was
he
Mally's,
left that job.
Mally's and
Let me finish, please. These are the dates, these are the jobs you told me you're at. He then left there for a better experience, or hopefully, but meanwhile, he's become homeless. The residence where he was residing previously, they didn't pay the lease, so there was some miscommunication there. He then is now living with friends and couch sleeping, so to speak. He does have, his next court date is before Judge Hessen on a personal bond. I know this is asking a lot, Your Honor, but we're asking for a personal bond with, even if it's necessary for a tether, though I don't believe he can afford a tether, and so that he can appear, and he knows he has to appear, first of all, in front of Judge Hessen, but second of all, at the new pretrial. You know, this asking a lot, Your Honor, but that's what I'm asking.
You're correct. That is asking a lot.
I'll follow through on all of it and be thorough. I promise. I promise. I mean, I know that doesn't mean much, me just saying it, but I would like the opportunity, like an actual opportunity to do this stuff correctly. You know what I mean? Because I have no trouble finding work or places to live or anything like that. It's just my last place, I was paying rent and they weren't paying the mortgage. And so I had to, you know.
Well, okay, here's what I'm going to do, sir. Because you were in court, you left, you didn't come back for the next court date, and you've had this outstanding warrant that you didn't voluntarily come in on. The court does have concerns that you're going to appear in court for the next court date. So
I didn't know about the.
When he indicated to me, no excuse for not showing up. I'm not going for drug testing. However, Your Honor, he indicated to me that he was unaware of the February 2nd date.
May 2nd?
I didn't think that was May 2nd, wasn't the pretrial he did show up.
Yes, it was, but the court gave him that date in court before he even went to go test.
I know, Your Honor. I told him, I'm sure the court gave him that date. He didn't call, and he didn't between houses, and nobody sent him any notes. I understand that you did sell him that. I'm sure you did, Your Honor.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to indicate this.
I'm begging you, Your Honor, please.
A
Sorry, I'm actually.
$2,500 bond. Stop talking, sir. $2,500 10% bond, the Bentley Post bond, GPS tether through Wayne County Jail.
That means you have to come up to $250.
And not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed.
I can't come up with that money right now.
Okay, we'll see you on the 13th. Thank you.
Will you hand me my screen box?